What if I'll tell you that the AirPods Pro you bought and the ones you own now are two different sets of headphones? Apple ruined them over this few months and haven't yet managed to fix their mistakes. I tried these headphones just after the release and they were really good. Despite the high price, you had decent sound, comfortable fit in your ears, maybe unlike usual AirPods, and of course you had an insane noise cancelling. Seems like a really good bang for a buck, isn't it? But these times remained in the past. Half a year and Apple literally broke the noise cancelling of AirPods Pro and did it without a way to return them to their full former glory, at least an easy way. I got a first few dings of disturbance from my friends back at New Year's Eve. They told me that the AirPods Pro I recommended to them so passionately were just not as good as I told them, which I couldn't really get at that time. You see, I tried them both inside and outside and having a really massive experience with earphones, I could tell they were good. In fact, as good with noise cancelling as were Sony's earbuds. And how could that change? But now Joseph Curran made a post about this problem in his Medium blog. I'll leave a link in the description, and that cleared my head a lot. So, how is that even possible? You see, AirPods Pro, just as any Apple product, has a firmware and it gets updated over time. But unlike with MacBook, iPhone and Apple Watch, you don't get to decide whether you want them to be updated or not. They will be updated and you can't even decide when. You just have to kinda deal with it. You see, AirPods Pro shipped with the firmware number 2B584, and in mid-November nearly all of working earphones were updated to version 2B588. Of course, most of the people didn't notice any difference at all, which is not surprising. People tend to not bother about this kind of things, but some people bothered, because noise cancelling got really worse. Apple's support forums got a new thread with that issue. Some media sources saw that and began a fuss. This thread got as long as 39 pages and of course got a ton of views, so in a month Apple released a new firmware to C54. You know, let's call them first, second and third versions to simplify things. But the third version somehow made noise cancelling even worse, and it actually changed an EQ curve, which is not good, you know, because people got used to the sound they had before. January passed and Apple decided to pull off the third version, but those people with updated earphones, they couldn't go back to second version and of course couldn't go back to first. So some people went to Apple support and asked for a replacement, and despite shipment delays, everything seemed to work out well. Mostly. Some of the earphones came with the test firmware and couldn't connect to another pod. You know, at this point, it seems like AirPods Pro are just cursed. There's a few possible reasons why Apple updated these earphones and can't return them back to the first version. First of them is possible battery draining. Who knows, maybe strong ANC could have even damaged it? Another reason could be dizziness. Not all of the people get well with the ANC, they get sick and all. But that could have been fixed by adding a few options to the mode slider. And maybe the third reason is safety. No matter how good the ANC is, you should always be aware about cars on the street around you. But those who want to double check their security marks could just use transparency mode or, you know, regular AirPods. And of course I didn't fully believe all of that until I got my hands on the two pairs of headphones with second and third firmware. And you know what? Earphones with third firmware has approximately 5 times worse active noise cancelling than the second, so I can confirm that article is a true thing. Actually, I'm pissed off about how Apple handles this situation by not handling it at all. I bet you still remember that you're holding it wrong problems, don't you? MacBook keyboard problems? They tend to react to all problems in this way, by staying silent and not give any answer to their primary source of money, their clients. And the people who bought these not cheap headphones at all got totally fooled with what they were expecting and what they got, and that's not a good thing by any means. If you like this video, you know what to do, but remember to subscribe and ring a bell. From Slav, with love, stay tuned. Pow!